Now I'm including this video because I'm often surprised that quite a lot of people can do wonderful things in Photoshop, but then they have very little idea of how to manage their folders and files and organize them into a structured entity using File Explorer. So this is the Windows environment, and I've got Windows File Explorer icon here. You might also find it at the bottom of your screen in a similar sort of folder icon like that. So I'm going to open up File Explorer. There we go. And this is a typical layout of what you'll see. Along the top we've got the usual File, Home, and depending on the tab that you have selected, these tools will change. Share and View. So probably the two most useful are Home and View. And I'll just have a quick little tour around the environment. Now a lot of people just allow the computer to store Word documents and photographs into default locations, often hidden within the computer. So if we go to, this is a folder that's been created by Windows, and within there we've got documents, pictures. Pictures is usually the default location for the Windows environment to save pictures to into a pictures folder. Now I don't save any of my work into default locations like this. I prefer to create my own folders and store everything in locations that are logical to myself. Now if we look down here, we can see that these are all the different drives within the computer, my computer. We've got C drive, which is usually used for your programs and the operating system. And then I have additional drives, I know there's quite a lot of them here, for different types of work. So photo is for all the process work that I do. Scanned is where I've stored all of my scanned slides. Work is for other stuff rather than photography. And I've got a drive here purely for raw files. And then of course I've got backup drives that I update every couple of months to back up the entire drive's photo work and raw files. Now for this demonstration I'm going to create a folder and subfolders in the C drive. I never, other than for demonstrations, I don't use C drive to store any of my work. I prefer just to leave that to the operating system and the programs that we use to work on the computer, like Photoshop and things. Okay, but down at the bottom here you can see I've created a folder ZPTE9 demo files, and within there I've gone and stored or created a folder for Air Display. Now this is the folder that I'll be using to store all of the data that I'll be creating subsequently to produce this Air Display Pictures to Exe show. And within that subfolder I've created a subfolder for music, photos, larger for animation, photos exact size with a border, photos exact size with no border. I've separated these out because I want to demonstrate different ways of using Pictures to Exe. Okay, normally all you need to do is create one folder for photos. If you're not using any video files, you don't need to create a folder for video files. So you'd normally have one for music, one for your photos, and I'm going to create in here, all I need to do is select that, make sure that is selected, go to new folder up here, and I want to create a subfolder here for the files that I'll be creating for Pictures to Exe to work and for the final show. So I'm going to call this PTE show. Press enter, and now we have a folder for PTE show. If I wanted to create, let's just start again. So I'll just collapse that. See these little arrows here? We can collapse or expand the subfolders within that level of folder. Okay, so if I don't want to see all of these subfolders, select that and it collapses. Select it again and it expands. If I wish to create another folder like this within the root of C drive, because C drive is there and these are what we call in the root, it's the first like subfolder or folder within C drive. I need to select that one, new folder. I'm going to put two Z's at the front of this so it ends up at the bottom of the folder stack here. I'll call this Steve's work. Okay, so if you've only got a drive with a computer with only one drive on it, this is probably how I'd select or create a folder within that computer so that it ends up at the bottom of the folder stack here, and then within that folder we can put all the rest of our work. Press enter and you can see that that has created a folder. I'll just select it. This folder is empty. We haven't put anything in it. We can create a new folder within that. So we can either make sure it's selected, and you see the blue highlighter here, new folder, or we can right click there. Oh, it's just gone off screen here, so I'll just, but you have a list of things you can do, and this one here is new folder. Okay, so it's created a new folder, and all you've got to do is type in there, say Word documents, and that is where I would store my Word documents. You can create another folder or subfolder. Make sure that the top level folder is selected. Go to New and Photos. Okay, so you get the idea. That is how you create folders or subfolders within this environment. And if we click on Photos, you can see in here this folder is empty. We haven't actually populated it with anything at the moment. If we go back to this folder that I already had selected or created, I've got music, and within there we can see that I've already populated it with two pieces of music. Down here we've got photos for animation, and down here we can see all the photos, and we've got a scroll bar, all the photos I've prepared to be inserted into a Pictures to Exe show. We can go to the top here and drag to expand these columns. If we want to see what these are, we can go to View and we can choose large icons or extra large icons, large icons, medium sized icons. You can go to Details, so select Details. So you've got the file name, the date, the type, the size. If we select up here, right click, we've got the option for dimensions. If I select that, you can see the pixel dimensions of the images. You have loads of other options down here, more, so you can select what other attributes you wish to be seen visible here. Okay, so it's really quite a useful tool for managing your folders and files. So as well as these changing the way the data is presented, we can have a preview pane. Okay, so that's appeared here. If you select an image, you can see the image in an enlarged view, and you can change the size of the preview pane like that. If you wish to see the details of a particular image, that one again, go to Details pane, and it will tell you the details. Even show you the star ratings that you may have applied within Lightroom or Photoshop or Bridge. Okay, and it tells you details of the camera that you used to create those images. If you don't wish that pane to be visible, just select it again and the pane disappears. Here, and we're still in View, we've got the Options pane. Okay, Folder Options. And in here you can tell Windows File Explorer how to behave. And one of the ways is if you go to View, these are how it kind of behaves. And if you leave it at the default, you'll probably find that Hide extensions for known file types is selected. Now I always want to know what file types they are. Like here it's .jpeg. If that is selected, you'll find that those JPEG extensions disappear. Now I want to know that those are JPEG files. So I have that selected so that it isn't hiding the extensions. Okay, so that's an important setting. So there might be one or two other settings down here that you wish to change the way Windows File Explorer works. What else is there? So we've been to Home, and you can see the options that you got here. We can move folders, we can delete folders, we can manage the data within our computer using this system view. Okay, so hopefully that's given you a quick overview of how to use Windows File Explorer to create folders. We can delete images, so if we select that one, press the delete key on your keyboard, it will delete that file or many files. If you press one file, press the shift key, press the next, select the next file, all of the ones in between will be selected, press the delete key, and all of those will disappear. And you can do the same for entire folders. So if I selected that folder, press the delete key, everything within that folder, including all the content, will disappear. Okay, so you can do quite a lot of management within your computer. If you wanted to move a folder like photos, I could click and drag so that photo goes into a display. Okay, so there it is there. So we can move folders and all their contents around between individual folders. So the idea is you would then create your folders and subfolders to be populated for your new Pictures to Actually Show. So if I wanted to create another Pictures to Actually Show, I'll select that top level folder. I'll go to the Home button, New Folder, and we'll call this Skomer Island. So there's a top level folder to start putting our subfolders in for the images and music for this show. So new folder, music, enter, and you can see there's a little arrow here now showing that there's a subfolder in there. Skomer Island is still selected, new folder, photos, so that's where I put the photos, and Skomer Island still selected, new folder, PTE files, so that's where I'll put the working files and the resulting files for that show. So I've now got the folders that I need for populating what I'll be needing for creating a new show called Skomer Island. Okay, so hopefully that's given you an overview of how to use Pictures to Windows File Explorer.